What is up, guys? Have a fun video for you today. Today's video is a short little discussion one about the new kind of patch notes that we're seeming to get that were announced during the GWENT Open. Would like to thank Sockblast for posting this on Reddit. So there's some really good stuff in here, and supposedly according down, go all the way down here. Yeah, so there's a lot more changes than this whole list we're going to go to. So really good, because I think the last patch was a little disappointing for some people. But not only are we getting just some slight adjustments, we're also getting quite a few reworks. So let's start working through that. First up, we have neutrals, and stratagems were said to be given a rework for the most part, because only like 3 were used, and that was Lamp Gin, Crystal Skull, and Tactical Advantage. The rest of them were kind of bad. So, Basilisk Venom, cannot talk. We can poison a particular unit instead of a random unit. You know, I still don't think you'll see play, but it makes it a little bit better. Enchanted Armor, hey, we can use this in our armor decks now. We get to boost a unit in our hand by 3, and then we also give it 2 armor. If you have a really huge engine that you need to live, like Gezras or something, this could definitely be a consideration. Ceremonial Dagger, damage an enemy unit by 3 and give it 2 bleeding. Can help give it just a little bit of removal if you need it, but definitely better than before because we get some instantaneous on there. And then Cursed Scroll is basically we get to choose whatever card we want instead of the top 3. I still don't really... I guess Cursed Scroll was already seen a little bit of play. When we look at these, I don't think it's going to change a whole lot. It just makes them a little bit more viable. So, Armory. Okay, it's now location. 6 provisions, resilient. So basically they're bringing a lot more locations in here. So they get the resilience where they have a deployability and then an order. Boost an allied unit by 6. Okay. Give 3 armor to an allied unit. So this could actually be really good because, you know, a lot of times your 6P, 7P slots are a little bit open for what you might want to tech in. So this, I think, would be somewhat viable. Land of 1,000 Fables has a very interesting order. We're transforming a special card in our hand to a random unit of the same provision cost from the same faction. Might see some interesting plays, though it's definitely probably a meme card. The next stratagem in monsters, we have the ability that it can trigger gold unit, which is really handy because honestly this one was pretty decent before if you had it with the Harpy Egg, because it was a 6-point stratagem. Really nice, but now we can go up to bronzes. That can see some really good value with Maruna, Werecat, and Imperial Manticore. Detlef, basically... Okay, actually, this has been changed since I went up here. Okay, so we got Detlef's initial Blood Moon duration just increases from 2 to 1, and we can get a max 4 with 2 adjacent vampires. Okay, I think it makes him a little bit better. Unseen Elder has power up to 6, can help it survive a bit more. Kind of feels nice, so because there's so many 5 removals. We're seeing a lot of these cards get up to 6. You can already see right down here, Aridin gets up to 6 power too, which is nice. So now we got a little change here. So R4 is actually playable. It basically has what the current Foglet has, where 4 power, 4 provisions, and then when Death Wish, it's going to summon another copy out. So cool, we'll actually see this card played now. And then Foglet and Ancient Fogland are going with weather synergies. So Foglet is going to spawn Fog on the opposite row for 3 turns, which is actually pretty nice for being a 4 provision card. And then Ancient Foglet boosts itself by the total duration of row effects on the opposite side. And then it's just a continuous engine. So this could be fairly decent. Definitely see it in vampire decks. You could see it in wild hunt decks, though still more meme style. Aridin we got, okay, so Nilfgaard, the biggest thing here. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow, they killed this card. I really didn't think it would be this good. So, they cannot trigger this scenario with Joachim and Roderick. Basically, I think there's 2 gold triggers for it, which is Devotion Usurper and Vincent, which are still respectable cards, I would say, especially Usurper. But that's really big. I honestly thought they'd just take the aristocrat tag away from Joachim, and I think that might have been a more trying to keep it a really competitive card balance. But man, they're just killing it outright. And honestly, I don't care that much. But I know all you armchair analysts out there aren't gonna be super happy about this in terms of keeping your favorite faction, Nilfgaard, just super toxic and viable. But I personally am fine with it. Kill it for a bit and then revive it back with maybe 14 provisions or something like that. Anyways, Morvan, you got an extra power, so tactical decision. Yeah, we get extra power. Sorry, extra point. My bad. Lockdown, they're giving an extra provision. I still don't think that'll change anything. It's just a really awkward leader. Imperial formation. This is really nice. We can have soldier decks again. We just kind of had a couple come out videos, but hey, give another one a shot, maybe on patch. But we're giving 1 armor for each adjacent soldier. Really handy with those crossbowmen. Amir. So they're tweaking him. They realize kind of the anti-synergy where you want to keep spies on the opponent's board for your seditious aristocrats, but Amir yanks him over. So it's now an order ability, so you can choose when you want it to come over, and then if you have devotion, you're going to refresh it. The issue, though, I still have with this is the deploy is the same. The deploy is just terrible. It needs to be something else. In terms of just like solution, what it should be, I don't exactly know. But the deployability is really awkward, especially at that provision cost. Because if it gets answered, pretty much instantly, just getting that deployability, I don't think is good enough. You could think something like Fergus where it gives spine automatically to units, but again, that kind of hurts Fergus, and it's not really what you're looking for here when it's going to be given as an engine piece. So I don't exactly know. That's still kind of an issue with the card at that provision level, but this order thing is pretty nice. Damien, we got another one at 6 to try and help him live a bit more. If this card became super meta again, if Nilfgaard kind of gets buffs to leaders that they're a little bit getting, it could be kind of scary, but we'll see. Now, Stefan here, going down to 9 provisions. Ciri, Nova, and Slave decks are going to be back in business, especially if we got a Royal Decree buff to 9 provisions. Oh, man. But that feels really nice. I'm definitely probably going to run an Enslaved deck with Stefan. Vragef and Vreem, we see a little bit of power and provision buffs there. Now, Northern Realms. Pincer Maneuver. Getting a change because it just was not too good. We're going to draw a Northern Realms card of our choice. Then we're going to put a card back in. And then we're going to spot a volunteer in a melee row. And we get to do that twice. So, this definitely can guarantee, draws, which is really good. So you might not have to run a Neuromancy anymore. This can be the way you get your high-end golds. Obviously, Amphibious Assault guaranteeing your low-end. So I think for consistency that'd be good, and you at least get some points out of it and can do it twice. We'll see how much that actually gets played. I don't think a whole lot, but it's better than the current one, so you can't be too mad. Inspired Zeal, we get a boost by 2 instead of just a boost by 1, so a little bit better, but not changing so much out. The leader's just to guarantee commandos. Other than that, it's kind of bad. We get a stockpile rework or change or buff something coming up. It hasn't been announced yet. Full test. This is interesting. So his power went down. Don't like to see that. His provisions went down. Needed to see that. And then he gets an extra at the end of your turn. Boost the unit to the right by 1. The provisions are nice. I don't really think this whole extra engine piece, it needs that for that provision level. Like the fact that it can have all these kind of, engine things going, right? Responding units, boosting them by 1 to pull back out. And then we also have, it's affecting the round that it's in, too, by just boosting the unit to the right by 1. But again, it's just kind of the issue. You're paying so much for this engine that just a simple lock can just completely tank it. You know what I mean? Honestly, being 7 at 12 and then having Vel would have been nice. That at least can't get locked. But if it goes off, it's good. So I guess you can say that. It's maybe a little binary. Uh-oh. Queen Meave. Now this is cool. Counter resets after each use. Holy cow. Talking about a strong card now. And whenever it receives a boost, it's going to gain armor. So, again, unfortunately, the thing is with this is that a lock just counters all of that. It doesn't matter. Or a heat wave. But if they're trying to kill it by traditional means, you should be able to keep giving it armor. and the counter resetting, that ceiling is going to be insanely high. Holy cow. I can't wait for some Queen Meave decks. That's really awesome. We got poor infantry over here. Keep it censored. We got a rework. So power is up to 3, and then it's going to spawn cards on to the left and right of it. And if it's bonded, it gets to boost itself by 3. That's pretty sweet. That card's definitely going to see play, especially for Swarm list. That's really cool. And then we get a little note down here that they're trying to fix NR, buff them up a bit, because I think in the open so far, like Northern Realms wasn't even played, which is really sad. And then we're seeing some charge stuff. I didn't like how they said they want to keep it a niche package. That's a little unfortunate. I mean, I guess I get why a bit, because the ceiling can be stupid high, but they are going to give it some buff, so maybe we'll see the return of the glory of the North. Scoia'tael, Invigorate. Okay, this is cool. Boost 5 units in your hand by 1, and we get 2 charges for it. I guess it doesn't make it as susceptible to just being abused if your opponent gets round control. We have Neophyte. This is kind of cool. So this is how the Enshe Saber gets affected too for that stratagem rework. The when it goes down, it can transform an allied elf into a Deadeye. Really good, synergies with Vernacio. And could, potentially transform up for points like the bomber or whatever that you gain a point. So we get a note here that we got some buffs coming in here. Munro, which is nice. You don't actually have to have 2 Rowdy Dwarfs on there to transform them, so it gives them a little more flexibility. Skellige, Reckless Flurry. It's going to split 3 damage randomly between all enemy units, ignoring their armor, as it is now. And we get 3 charges with that. So here's the stratagem for Skellige. Cannot talk. We're going to draw a card, discard it just like before, and spawn 2 crows in the melee row. Croc gets an extra little damage ability. That's nice, but in majority games I play with him, he's instantly getting taken out. It's very rare he lives or gets to go off, but if he does, this just gives him some extra power. Cannot be too mad. The ice nerf here kind of sucks. You need Bloodthirst 3. It'll affect like 1 in every 5 games, I feel like. But it's just massive point slam with them. It's I don't know what else could have been done, but I feel this is a little weak considering, like, if they hit ball really hard, I'm surprised Ice didn't get hit a bit harder, or like a provision nerf to Blaze of Glory or something like that. Totem now has resilience. Interesting. Doubt we'd see that order being used into the next turn, but maybe in some self-damage stuff we could. Coral, we get a buff up to 6, and then it triggers off of any discarded card, not just specials. So actually, I think this card could see a little play now. Not too bad, I believe. Dire Bear. This Berserk 7, I don't know. I just don't see this changing kind of much. Armor up, 4 provisions, really cool. I actually like that. Makes card way more playable. Syndicate, Pirate's Cove. This seems to change nothing. Is not good. Spawn a Sea Jackal and an allied row, and we get to do that 2 different times. In one hand, it's good because by giving you 2 different spenders that you can use in 2 different chances that can rechange. You can reevaluate how you want to build a deck. You might not have to put as many bronze spenders in there because now you can have 2 of them. So that's handy, but losing coins kind of sucks there. Tiger's Eye, we gain 5 coins now instead of 4. Feels nice. Horson Jr. has Insanity by default. You gotta love that. And Devotion has changed because this was the Devotion before, I believe. Should have been. We're damaging any unit on deploy, not just boosted ones. That's really nice. Horson, I think we'll see a little bit uptick in play rate. That's really cool because I thought it was a nice card. Had a decent deploy and then kind of a pretty cool engine setup. So be nice to see him more. Cleaver has no armor now. So, we get those on-crate longships down. Cleaver's got to be real scared. Horst and Ewald, probably saying that right. I hope so. They have these fees now to either get Vitality or Bleeding. Don't think they'll see any play, but you never know. Halfling Safecracker got completely butchered. Can't be too mad. It really helps curve line pockets. Power went up. but Intimidate is removed. So it's just like the Nilfgaard one that spawns with Tactics. I can't remember its name. I guess it just shows you how much it's played. But it just makes it like that. Keeper of the Flame added. Decrease this card's tribute by 1 for every allied cleric. We have Salamander Mage, the best thing in the whole list. It got added, the Mage category. So anyways, just kind of a run through over it if you hadn't seen it already. Kind of give you a little bit of thoughts of mine. Masquerade Ball, really happy about some of the changes to stratagems. I don't think will be too massive, but it's nice that they're a little more playable. And then some of the reworks were kind of cool. Glad to see it. They're trying to change things up. I feel this is a really good patch. Really happy with what I'm seeing in terms of them just trying to change up the game and make some things a little more viable. Some of the stuff in there won't change much, but a lot of it I felt was pretty good. So, there it is. What did you guys think of it? Please let me know down below if you were happy with it, if you think they're needing to do more, if they did too much. You know, we still apparently have a bunch more announcements coming out. Can't wait to see that. We're getting some leaks for upcoming expansions, so we'll start talking about that. But yeah, just let me know your thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you in the next one for a fun deck guide.